Alrighty, good morning, everybody. It is our really early pre-market here. It's almost 4 in the morning on the West Coast here. Do a quick pre-market and also a review for yesterday, Thursday, and then I'm going to get going here. So let me go ahead and scroll back to yesterday. And what did we say? Coming into the open yesterday, we talked about seeing a lot of clues for the bears off the lows, starting to get a huge confluence on the hourly, 4-hour, daily, I believe the weekly. Everything has potential bullish signals from the lows. Of course, what I did say is they could fake the bulls out, bring it back a little bit lower, and then maybe we'll get the bounce. We're not guaranteed the rotation, just at the moment of the open yesterday. And there also, if we go back to the higher time frames here, we still have a little bit of room. So if the market comes down a little bit deeper, as long as the market stays above that 44.11 quarter low, we will still have the arguments for a bullish divergence. So it could pull back a little bit more before the rotation starts to begin, but it was somewhat of a bullish clue. So the market opened, and what happened? I told you guys right when the market opened, we were holding right around 50% of the day before, which was the first condition that I talked about in our pre-market yesterday. If we could hold above 50% of yesterday and then get up through the overnight highs in this pocket of resistance here and get up through 50% of last week, those were the two main conditions we wanted to see happen. So here, right out of the open, guys, held 50% of the previous day nearly to the tick. And then all morning, you had opportunities, pullbacks to the 200. How many times do I talk about these beautiful pullbacks into the 200 moving average to the tick here yesterday? So plenty of opportunity. There's a beautiful pullback into the FMA as it was breaking out to the upside. So plenty of opportunity to be in, make your money, and get out of the market very early yesterday. I know I was done very, very quickly. There were a number of people who actually left the room within the first 20 to 30 minutes of the broadcast, or after the broadcast. I'm hoping that's because you guys just grabbed that long right out of the open, or the first pullback off the 200, or the second pullback off the 200, because that's really all you needed for the rest of the morning. And then it went ahead and continued to chug, held the FMA, held the FMA, held the FMA. And then what do you know? What was the high of the morning? Our first pocket of expected resistance up here. Now, we didn't hold it to the tick like we normally see with some of our levels, but for all intents and purposes, we came right up to our first expected resistance zone, and that was it. That was the high of the morning. They faked the bulls out, right? But still plenty of opportunity there to capture 10, 20, 30, probably over 30 points to the upside if you caught the long off the 200 out of the open there. And then it started to break lower, right? So we could not get up through this this morning high. Pulled back, kept making lower lows, lower highs. We did hold the 200 two additional times before they finally went ahead and pulled it down, tagged the back end of the scaffolding. One of those trades we talk about breaking below and then pulling back into one of our levels. And then that was it. Started to sell off. Plenty of opportunity off the back end of the FMA. Beautiful opportunity right off the back end of the VWAP here as it sold off. And then interestingly enough, the market came down. And where did we bounce after the market started to get this huge failure? Right off of scaffolding. I mean, yesterday was a masterclass in, trading within our roadmap levels. Held the VWAP, pulled back. And then, did it come up and tag the 200 perfectly and continue to sell off the first time? No. But then the second time here, beautiful opportunities to the tick, and then just a couple ticks through the 200. We came down, bounced literally a tick in front of the holy orange power level there. And then again, had trouble right at 50% of the day before. So remember our condition, holding 50% of the previous day, getting through this pocket, and getting up through 50% of last week was what we wanted to see if we were going to have faith in that potential for a bullish rotation yesterday. And unfortunately, like I told you, they could come right up through the high of the day before here, have trouble and fail, and that's what happened. They fell down, and there was just another beautiful textbook hold right off the VWAP in a bearish context of the market selling off. And then it continued to go. There's another tag off the back end of the 200. I mean, there were just so many beautiful, perfect opportunities yesterday to make a little bit of money that, you know, I don't know what to tell you. That was it. Continued to sell off. We held the 200, but didn't quite do anything and pop through. Failed a couple ticks in front of the 50% level. And then there you have it, right off the 200 again, right off the scaffolding. And then towards the midday there, we come all the way down and we bounce right off our next expected support zone down here, which was the low of the day before. And they went ahead and probably faked the bears out, coming down to break through the low of the day before, get through this potential support zone. Of course, just duck through by 2, 3, 4, 5 ticks, and then they brought it right back up towards the end of the day, right? And then they rode in another opportunity there right off that zone. So 2 beautiful holds from that zone that we were talking about as potential support. And then at the end of the day, just kind of petered out there right around the 200 moving average. So really awesome stuff, really great opportunities yesterday. Couldn't have worked out better in my opinion. Basically did everything we were talking about, you know, looking for the breakout, failing right at our expected resistance zone, and then holding and respecting all these levels the whole way back down. And, you know, pretty awesome stuff. So that brings us here into the overnight session for this morning, coming into the pre-market for Friday, August 11th. And it was a little bit of a messy overnight session here. We did hold the VWAP out of the open of Globex and come up about a little less than 10 points here. Held it a second time there and then fell through and held it from the back end to come lower here. It got a really nice parry right off the close there. Again, didn't quite go very far, and still, like I said, a little bit messy in this overnight session, bringing us into this current pre-market here. And as you can see, held the back end of the 200, held the back end of the VWAP here, and these beautiful bounces off this support level again. So this little area here that we were watching, remember before the market had sold off, we had this area marked on the chart. It was a pocket from 76 to 78. Told everybody to put it on the chart. And I've been muted this whole time. I had no idea. Sorry about that, Bjorn. We had this level on the chart for multiple weeks, and I told you guys 76 to 78, put it on your chart. There's a swing high there at 78. Make sure you have that there. And literally for multiple days now, this has been a beautiful support zone. So here we are holding that support zone again, coming into the open. And we're chopping around. And we really haven't gotten outside of the zone that I told you was going to be choppy. So let's go ahead and jump up to the higher time frames here. And we'll go ahead and do a quick pre-market.